الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم. My dear respected brothers and sisters, for the past week, we've been seeing in our news feeds, and it's been full of videos of families and videos and pictures of families under the rubble after the earthquake in Morocco. Children left without parents, and we've witnessed the thousands of bodies, and the number is still, ongoing, washing up after the flood in Libya. And wallahi, it is absolutely heartbreaking. And we can't stop but to sit and to reflect for a moment truly how short this life is. Imagine being a father, imagine being a mother, sleeping in the safety of your home and waking up in a split second, you're in the middle of the sea, surrounded by your family, helpless, unable to save them. And we know that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he tells us, مَثَلُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ فِي تَوَادِّهِمْ وَتَرَحُمِهِمْ وَتَعَاطُفِهِمْ مَثَلُ الْجَسَدِ إِذَا اشْتَكَى مِنْهُ عَضُوٌّ تَدَاعَى لَهُ سَائِرُ الْجَسَدِ بِالسَّهَرِ وَالْحُمَّى. That the believers, in regards to the love that they have for one another, the compassion, the sympathy that they have for one another, are like one body. And if one of the organs in that body suffers, the entirety of that body will suffer. The entirety of that body will respond with sleeplessness and with fever, a reaction to what is happening to that one body. And our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he taught us to always care for one another, to always look out for one another, to check in on one another, to be there for one another, especially for those who don't have the very blessings that you've been blessed with. And when we see our brothers and sisters all around the world, Libya, Morocco, and Sudan, right? The struggles that they're going through, we can't help but to reflect and to sit down and to ask ourselves, what part have we given to be in support to our brothers and sisters around the world? The greatest example we have is how our beloved Prophet ﷺ cared for those, people with special needs and people with disabilities. Because Rasulullah cared for everybody, but specifically people with special needs and people with disabilities. And he was taught and reminded by Allah Azza wa Jalla. It didn't just come from him. One time Rasulullah, he was sitting with the big shots in Mecca, right? And he was talking to them and he found an opportunity to discuss to them Islam and wanted to invite these gentlemen to Islam. And he said, it's now or never. Maybe I won't have this moment again to speak to these big shots. And a companion by the name of Abdullah ibn Maktoum radiallahu anhu, he came to the Prophet and he wasn't concerned with what the Prophet was doing or who he was talking to. He just simply wanted to learn Islam and wanted to speak to Rasulullah. So he told Rasulullah, he said, Ya Rasulullah, allimni mimma allamaka Allah. Teach me from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator and our maker, has taught you. And he knew, right? Rasulullah knew that, this is Abdullah, I know him, I have a personal connection with him. I can talk to him later. But these gentlemen, this is like a one-time thing that I can speak to them. فجعل عبد الله بن مكتوم رضي الله عنه يردد يا رسول الله علمني مما علمك الله. So he kept repeating over and over, teach me something, teach me what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught you. All the way until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah was ignoring that situation, continuously speaking to the man. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called him out for it. And Allah revealed in the Quran, عَبَسَ وَتَوَلَّى أَنْ جَاءَهُ الْأَعْمَى وَمَا يُدْرِيكَ لَعَلَّهُ يَزَّكَّى. Allah sent down these verses in the chapter of Abasa, that the Prophet ﷺ, he turned away and he said that he would tell Abdullah he would speak to him later. When Abdullah was a blind man, right? He was blind. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, you don't know for sure that perhaps what you would have taught him is going to change him, or at least would have reminded him or benefited him to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As for he who thinks of himself without a need, right? You gave them your attention. You gave your attention to people who think that they're better than everybody, that they don't need a creator, that they are here and they are flaunting and flexing on everybody that they can do, that they can be, right? And you gave your attention to those people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he tells him, you're not responsible for those people. You won't be blamed if they reject the truth in the end. So Allah Azza wa Jalla called Rasulullah out for this interaction that he had with Abdullah. So Abdullah, every time that he met with Rasulullah afterwards, he would tell him, he said, Marhaban biman, or Rasulullah would tell Abdullah, Marhaban biman atabani fihi Rabbi. Like, greetings and welcome to the one who got me in trouble with God, basically. Right? He's like, you got me in trouble with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah put him in his place, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to show him the severity of how it is to not ignore somebody, but to care for somebody, especially because he had special needs. Right? We're all equal. Many people live with disabilities and all sorts of disabilities. Perhaps you know somebody, or you're related, or you have a relative, right, that's living with a disability. Blind, if it's deaf, if it's autism, if it's Down syndrome, right? Whatever it may be, mentally, physically. And many times our culture affects our thoughts, and we begin to pity those with disabilities, ignore them because we get sensitive around these types of topics. We don't know how to deal with them. So we say things like, we feel bad for them, we feel bad for their parents, we feel bad for their father, they were tested with this, they have to suffer with this. And we look down at them, perhaps because we feel better than them, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us more than them. But the sunnah, the tradition of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our brothers and sisters, is the complete opposite of this. The sunnah is to recognize that Allah Azza wa Jalla, he tests everyone in different ways through his infinite wisdom subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are to recognize that every single individual has strengths. And Rasulullah sallam, he would look for those very strengths, in every one of the companions, regardless of the challenges that they faced. Abdullah radiallahu anhu, the blind companion, Rasulullah would assign him to lead the salah, when he would travel. And he was blind. But because he was blind, Rasulullah didn't neglect to, to be aware of his strengths. He could still lead salah, right? It wasn't a deficiency in that matter. Rasulullah saw his strengths, and he would assign him for things of that nature. When Abdullah wanted to participate in the battle, right? They told him, "You're excused. You don't have to participate." He said, "No, I want to be there and I want to fight side by side with Rasulullah." He said, "At bare minimum, let me hold the flag." The flag that they hold, to show that the army is coming. He said, "Let me hold the flag." And he said, subhanAllah, he dug 2 holes in the ground and put his feet in the ground and held the flag, right? Because he didn't want to himself to run away or to get scared or anything. He said, "I'm staying here," right? He said, "I am not truly somebody of the Quran, somebody of the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if I run and I hide." And there he stood, a blind man, and he's hearing, imagine a blind man in the middle of a war, hearing these screams and these cries all around him. Until he was martyred, radiallahu anhu. Rasulullah, my brothers and sisters, left nobody behind. Nobody felt like an outcast, right? Nobody felt like they didn't belong. Rasulullah was there for everybody and stood up for everybody's rights, and he encouraged them to reach their full potential to the best of their abilities, right? Because people, they struggle all the time. And we understand that Rasulullah cared for everybody. One of the scholars, he says something very beautiful. He said, قَدْ يُنْعِمُ اللَّهُ بِالْبَلْوَى وَإِنْ عَظُمَتْ وَيَبْتَلِ اللَّهُ بَعْضَ النَّاسِ بِالنِّعَمِ. That Allah can test or can bless people with tests, meaning that they get closer to Allah, they get closer to Him through those tests. In reality, they're a blessing in disguise, right? A blessing, or hidden blessings in what seems to be a hardship. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can test people with their blessings. They give them so much, He gives them so much that they forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are various servants, subhanahu wa ta'ala, people amongst those people that their faith, wallahi, is so broken that it will not be mended until they are sick. And if they had complete health, their faith would deteriorate. There are people, until they are poor, until they feel that poverty, right? Their faith will not be mended. And if they had all the money in the world, their faith would deteriorate. And wallahi, we get lost in all of the distractions of this world. We forget so easily why Allah has placed us in this very world. This dunya, this world fools us, thinking that we will be here forever. And we forget that this life within itself is a test. Sure, it's a test. Nobody said the test was going to be easy. But many people, my brothers and sisters, they forget what they're being tested on. How can you pass a test that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you if you don't even know what you're being tested on? How can you pass it? And the test, my brothers and sisters, is for us to be able to control our desires, not allow our desires to control us. That is the test in this world. You will have tests and you will be shaken and stirred in every which way. Everybody in this very world has their own, background, their own journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are people in this very room who are struggling with their kids. There are people in this very room who are going through the news. There are people in this very room who are staying up in the middle of the night, pleading and crying to Allah to get accepted into, XYZ program. Everybody has their own unique journey to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Let us recognize, let us understand that these journeys are so unique. And Allah Azza wa Jalla will put us in certain situations that will give us the strength to endure these journeys, right? And sometimes when we see hardships in the way that we perceive, and we have to understand Allah Azza wa Jalla, when we see things that you perceive them to be a hardship, in reality, if there is something in that gets us closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla, wallahi, it is worth it. If we struggled every type of calamity in this world, sickness and poverty and everything, as long in the end we got closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla, wallahi, it is worth it. Allah Azza wa Jalla, my brothers and sisters, will never let his sincere slave live a journey, live a life that they please, but it's displeasing to Allah and for them to be on their merry way. Allah Azza wa Jalla loves you way too much for that. He sees a potential in you that you perhaps don't even see in yourself. He sees a strength in you that you perhaps don't even see in yourself. That you can be, and Allah Azza wa Jalla will mold you into the best version of you possible. And these tests and these trials, these tribulations will mold you into that very moment. The people of paradise, like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us, he says, يَوَدُّ أَهْلُ الْعَافِيَةِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ حين يعطى أهل البلاء الثواب لو أن جلودهم كانت قلضت في الدنيا بالمقاريض. That the people in paradise, they're going to see when Allah Azza wa Jalla rewards the people who struggled in this world. They're going to see the reward and they're going to say, we wish to go back to this world, to this dunya, and to struggle every type of calamity. So much so we wish our skin was literally chopped up into pieces. And we struggled every type of calamity so we can come back and reap the reward that Allah Azza wa Jalla has in store for them on the day of judgment. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he tells us that everything you go through, do not think for a moment that, Allah Azza wa Jalla doesn't know what he's doing. We don't believe in karma. We don't believe in a coincidence. We believe in qadar. We believe in divine decree and divine destiny, that everything happens in the way that it happens, in the manner that it happens, because Allah Azza wa Jalla willed for it to happen in that exact way, in that exact time, in that exact place. That's what we believe. That everything that happens in your life at this moment, there is a reward for that. There is something waiting for you. It is molding you into a better version. Rasulullah, he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَالَ إِذَا ابْتَلَيْتُ عَبْدِي بِحَبِيبَتَيْ فَصَبَرْ عَوَّضْتُهُ مِنْهُمَا الْجَنَّةَ. That Allah Azza wa Jalla, if he tests an individual with their eyesight, there is no reward that's befitting for that person except paradise. Guaranteed paradise. Imagine that. Rasulullah went out of his way, my brothers and sisters, to accommodate for those people with special needs. And even the companions after him, Umar radiallahu anhu ibn Abdul Aziz, he would go to the companions and he would gather a list of everybody in the community with special needs. And he would assign a companion for each individual. He said, I want you to take care of this person. I want you're with this person. He would assign everybody every companion with somebody with special needs. So everybody had assistance, right? We, my brothers and sisters, have a responsibility in being inclusive in our communities and helping, those with special needs, and perhaps, they feel left out, treating them with the same respect that we would give anyone else, helping them reach their full potential without feeling sorry, without feeling pity, because this is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. This is how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, right? And this topic, a lot of times we don't hear about it. How often do we hear people talking about special needs? And that's part of the problem. It is part of the problem. And we have to be able to spread that awareness. We have to be able to open our eyes to that, because this is faith-based. This is something that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. This is not some new phenomenon. Because you could be a means of helping somebody or breaking, depending on how you act and what you say. Breaking or making somebody's faith. And I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to allow us to be amongst those who help those increase in strength, increase in faith. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور. الحمد لله حق حمده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي من بعده وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Every time, my brothers and sisters, that I speak about those with special needs, I'm reminded of how much that I wish the roles were reversed. I wish that we could sit down and we can listen to the mother who cares for her child with Down syndrome, or to the father who worries night and day about his child with autism. the struggles that they may go through, the restless nights that they may have, but also the happiest lives and most fruitful lives that they may live. Let us reflect, my brothers and sisters, on the lives of those who are blind, because wallahi, they see the world from a different perspective. And perhaps it's that very perspective that we need that will open our eyes to having a stronger relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us, my brothers and sisters, open our ears up to those who journey a life of being deaf. Perhaps it's their silence that we can learn and we can benefit from. When we expose ourselves to the reality of those around us who live lives navigating through their disabilities, we will be left with a renewed relationship and a revived relationship with our Creator and with our Maker. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, إِنَّمَا تُنصَرُونَ وَتُرْزَقُونَ بِضُعَفَائِكُمْ. That your true victory and success lies in you serving those who perhaps aren't blessed with some of the blessings that you have. Or perhaps those who aren't blessed with some of the strength that you have. Everybody's broken. Every single individual in this room, myself first and foremost, is broken. And wallahi, we all have special needs. And we're just looking to try to heal. Everybody's just looking to try to heal, and we all need that help. And we oftentimes think that we have much to teach people with disabilities. We have much to teach people with special needs, right? And they're the ones that will learn from us. But wallahi, you will come to learn that they are not the ones in need. We are the ones in need, my brothers and sisters. We are the ones in need to learn from them. Because these people could be your very ticket to Jannah, your very ticket to paradise. Allah Azza wa Jal has blessed some people perhaps in this room, who have access to people with special needs at any time, to be in service of them and to them at any moment. Those who have mental disabilities are literally people of Jannah, people of paradise walking on this earth. That when you see them, you actually know that this person will be in paradise. Because this is what Allah Azza wa Jalla has said. Rufi al-qalam, the pen has been lifted. They are not held accountable for what they do, or what they say, or how they act. Right? These people could be your very reason to enter Jannah. And they go to Allah and they say, Ya Allah, this person took care of me. They helped me. They were there for me. They made me feel like I was a part of the community. Maybe it's out of the love that Allah Azza wa Jalla has for you, my brothers and sisters, that He knows you as an individual are so weak. And you will slip up so much that He's given you an opportunity to be in service to someone, because that's how you will enter Jannah. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla chose for you to enter Jannah through that means. And it is out of love that Allah Azza wa Jalla has given you that. Before we accommodate, my brothers and sisters, for those with special needs via our structures, via our programs, let us accommodate for people with special needs with our hearts. First and foremost, let us open our hearts and learn to be a community that is inclusive, a community that leaves no one behind, a community that is open to each and every single one of us, to everybody, right? And I am not from this community. I'm from the windy city of Chicago, right? And every time I come to Cali, I question myself, why am I not living here? But again, Allah tests people in different ways. So we have to say, Alhamdulillah, right? But this community looks, mashallah, I can see the nur in all of your faces. A very bright and prosperous, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, community. May Allah Azza wa Jal barakah in your guys' work and your guys' efforts, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. May Allah Azza wa Jal keep you all steadfast and give you that strength to be an inclusive community, to be a means of hope for those around you, a beacon of hope, a beacon of peace for those around you, bi'idhnillah. Because again, your actions, your tongue plays the biggest role in inviting people to this beautiful faith of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, a lot of times it's not what we say, it's what we do, how we act, how we show who we are with our actions. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all shifa, to grant us healing bi'idhnillahi ta'ala for us and for our loved ones bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Give us the best in this life and the best in the next. اعلموا أن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام وانصر المسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين. اللهم كن مع إخواننا المستضعفين في فلسطين وفي المغرب وفي ليبيا وفي السودان وفي كل مكان يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اهد شباب المسلمين ونساء المسلمين. اللهم أصلح أحوالنا وبارك في هذه الجالية. اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا، وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا، وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا. اللهم اجعل الحياة زيادة لنا من كل خير، واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. اللهم إنا نسألك ثباتا على دينك واستقامة على طاعتك. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اغفر لنا وللمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات، إنك يا ربنا سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وارحمهما كما ربونا صغارا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، وقوموا إلى صلاتكم.
Is there a snow on the night? It was okay. الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
استووا استقيموا اعتدلوا تراصوا سدوا الخلل. Straighten your lines. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى. سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم يموت فيها. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. جزاكم الله خيرا وتقبل الله طاعتكم. First, I wanted to thank the Muslim community of Folsom, Jazakum Allah khairan, for having me. I'm here on behalf of Muhsin organization. The table is outside, inshallah. If you would like to learn more about special needs or any way that you can help or be a volunteer, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, we would love to hear from you, bi'idhnillah. Also, visiting the masjid is UMR. They're here on behalf of the Sudanese relief. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease their affairs, inshallah, and give them strength and have mercy on the ones who lost their lives, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. If everybody could just delay their sunnah for a few minutes, I just wanted to announce that we have two very important guests here today. We have the mayor of Folsom, Ms. Rodriguez, and we also have our friend, community friend, Vice Mayor, Brother YK, and they are here to present this community with a very prestigious award and hand it on.
Thank you so much for having us today. And thank you very much for that beautiful message. As a grandmother of an autistic grandson, you don't hear a lot of messages about the value of these children that God sends us and why they send us. Vice Mayor Chalam Churla and I are here to give a proclamation from the city of Folsom, recognizing the American Muslim Appreciation and Awareness Month. And at first we were going to share a little bit of pieces, but it's so beautiful that I'm just going to read the whole thing. It says, whereas freedom of religion holds the distinction of being a cherished right and a fundamental value upon which the law and ethics of the United States are based and enriched by the unparalleled diversity of its residents. Folsom takes great pride in supporting individual religious freedoms, and it's strengthened by the diverse religious, political, and cultural traditions of its residents, including Americans who practice Islam. Folsom is home to several prominent Muslim figures who continue to make significant contributions to Folsom and to the state of California as business owners, legal professionals, doctors, engineers, teachers, farmers, civil rights leaders, humanitarians, athletes, and many other great notable capacities. The Muslim community of Folsom and Folsom Education Academy have partnered with community organizations such as Islamic Relief USA, Rise Against Hunger, Homeless Assistance Resource Team of Folsom, Council of American Islamic Relations, Sacramento Valley and Central Valley, and Shifa Clinic to serve the community by hosting donation drives, COVID vaccine clinics, and voting stations. Folsom Education Academy, operating out of the Muslim community of Folsom, has served the people of the city of Folsom by hosting food and clothing drives to serve the unhoused community of Folsom, as well as hosting their space for a crib and scout programs. The Folsom Education Academy actively engages in dismantling hate by opening its doors through the year of the Folsom community to promote an understanding of Islam and attends Muslim Day at the Capitol to advocate for policies protecting people of all walks of life from hate. And it is appropriate to acknowledge and promote awareness of the myriad of invaluable contributions the American Muslims in California and across the country, and extend to them the respect and camaraderie every American deserves. Now therefore it be resolved by the city of Folsom that the city joins all communities in recognizing that the month of August was American Muslim Appreciation and Awareness Month. And this is given to by myself, Rosario Rodriguez, Mayor for the City of Folsom, and Vice Mayor YK Chalam.
Thank you so much. Salam alaikum. Tomorrow there is a community service day. It's a very big day in our community. Over 2,000 people are volunteering. Next door, Lakeside Church. If you have a few minutes, you want to give it back to our community, please join us. I sincerely request. Our commissioner is here for utilities. Jayed Akhtar, if you can raise your hand. No, he is representing our community at the city. We want more people to join. Together we can make better, right? Jayed, please join us. And also, this is a hint. I don't want to take up much of your time. But Folsom has a program called Adopt a Trail. Adopt a Trail. I want our Muslim community to adopt a mile or 2 miles length of trails, and we can put our events, whatever is coming, whatever we are celebrating, and all those. We want to make sure the local community understands how we are living in this country and how we are giving back to the local community. We want to celebrate that one. So I hope you can consider that one. We really, really want to bring them. Jayed Bhai, thank you so much for representing our community and the city. He is the commissioner for utilities. And if the utility rates goes up, ask him why the water rates are going up. No, he's doing an awesome job. He's making so many changes and he's representing all of us. Once again, thank you so much for giving this opportunity. I'm so proud to say when Omar came to me and asked, August has been declared at the state level, Muslim Community Month. I was so happy. It took a little bit longer, but we are here. And graciously agreed when I said, Mayor, can we go to their place to present the proclamation? Usually we invite you, so a few hundred people will come to speak out. maybe 4 or 5 comes, right? But we want to take the turn, go to the people, recognize all of you, appreciate all of you. That's, our due diligence. Mayor has been very great for all minority communities. If you don't mind, I don't think you can come here. If you can, please give a lot of applause. Thank you, Mayor.
I just want to say one thing. Obviously, we're not a profit. We can't endorse anyone. But I want to just say YK has always stepped up to the plate whenever the Muslim community of Folsom has ever needed anything. He's always been there for us. He's always advised us. He's been a great mentor. So I want to thank him from MCF, from myself personally, from the whole community. If you don't know YK, he's standing for State Assembly. I can't encourage you to vote for him. Obviously, he's standing for State Assembly. So thank you. And also, thank you so much. It's very nice to meet you, Mayor. Thank you for coming to our community. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here and really appreciate the award. Thank you so much.
Since he mentioned about me, I don't want to criticize this. Mayor is running for our county supervisor. She will be a great representation for us, especially minority community. She herself is a minority. Thank you.
Now we just need you guys to really consider stepping into the political world. It actually is a lot of fun. It's great representation and it's such a great way to give back to your community. So if you ever feel that tug, talk to us. We'll be more than happy to mentor you through that process.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to thank also Brother Omar and Brother Ali for all the efforts they did in making this possible. Last reminder, brothers and sisters, there is Muslim tables outside and also UMR and Sapa.